and welcome to Beyond Borders on Breaking Scoop, where we take you through the week's biggest stories and the latest breaking news from around the world. I'm Babita Isheshi. We begin with the earthquake that happened in California in a city called San Diego has been shaken by a 5.2 magnitude quake, but no major damage has been reported. On Monday, a 5.2 magnitude earthquake briefly rattled the region, and not just the region, but the nerves of the residents. Initially measured at 6.0, the quake was later downgraded by seismologists. Though very brief but noticeable, shook schools and even sparked a school evacuation across parts of the city as a safety precaution. Despite the scare, officials from San Diego Fire Department confirmed that there were no immediate reports of injuries or serious structural damage. Governor Gavin Newsom, his office came to announce that the state is currently coordinating with local agencies to assess any impact and determine if further response is needed. This event has served as a stark reminder of California's ever-present seismic risk. For now, San Diego appears to have escaped unscathed, but with a few more people checking their emergency kits and quake safety plans. In the United States, White House blasts Democrats over focus on deported immigrants linked to MS-13. The White House took aim at congressional Democrats this week, accusing them of putting the interest of undocumented immigrants, even those with alleged gang ties, ahead of American citizens. At the center of the controversy is Senator Chris Van Hollen, who floated the idea of traveling to El Salvador to advocate for the return of a Maryland resident mistakenly deported during the Trump administration. Who is that resident? The person of Abrego Garcia, who has been linked by officials to the notorious MS-13 gang, raising red flags at the highest level of the U.S. and Salvadoran leadership. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has called the situation mind-boggling. She said, and I quote, "It is atrocious that members of Congress are spending more time defending illegal migrant gang members rather than standing up for law-abiding Americans." El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele echoed the sentiment, telling reporters at the White House that his country couldn't and wouldn't smuggle a terrorist back into the U.S. And with the Supreme Court now involved and no clear path to return for Garcia, the case has become a lightning rod in the immigration debate, putting pressure on both lawmakers and the present administration. Meanwhile, Erdogan takes city stage in global diplomacy at Antalya. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been making headlines with a whirlwind of high-profile diplomatic meetings at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, positioning Turkey as a pivotal player in regional and global politics. Now, Erdogan held talks with leaders from the Balkans, Europe, and Middle East, including Africa, touching on everything from energy cooperation to conflict resolution. In a meeting with Bosnia and Herzegovina's presidency, Erdogan stressed Turkey's unwavering support for Balkan stability and Bosnia's territorial integrity. He also met with Bulgarian Prime Minister Rosen Zeljazkov to discuss defense and energy ties and urged for a stronger cooperation in combating terrorism. Turkey's president also focused on expanding partnership in Africa, especially in Sierra Leone, as he emphasized a win-win approach in defense and also in trade. Not just that, he had a conversation with Sudanese leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan as he highlighted Turkey's commitment to post-conflict restructuring in the war-torn country. Let's go to the part of the Middle East where Erdogan reaffirmed Turkey's support for Palestinians, endorsing a two-state solution to the ongoing war in Gaza and pledging humanitarian aid for displaced civilians. Apart from the talks he had with leaders from Georgia, Somalia, Azerbaijan, and Syria, which revolved around economic collaboration, regional security, and rebuilding ties amid international sanctions. With this meeting, Erdogan's marathon diplomacy underscores Turkey's growing ambition to serve as a regional stabilizer and global mediator. Away from meetings, let's go to the giants of Africa, where there are tears everywhere as there's been a cybercrime. CBEX, Crypto scam has hit Nigerians hard and exposes international fraud network. Now, thousands of Nigerians are reeling CBEX, calling it a fraudulent digital trading platform, of which it is true. It has operated as a classic Ponzi scheme, promising high returns through the AI-powered trading model. Now, CBEX lured investors with the false promise of doubling their money within 30 days, giving a high percentage. They branded as China Beijing Equity Exchange to appear credible. Now, CBEX had no actual connection to the real Chinese financial institution of the same name, but the scheme gained traction through the state media promotions and even word of mouth, referrals, and with new investors required to recruit others before accessing their supposed returns. But everything came crashing down as users' accounts were abruptly frozen and CBEX's office in Lagos and Ibadan were swarmed by furious investors demanding answers. But what would you get? Some users reported losses in tens of thousands of dollars. Mind you, they were only allowed to invest in dollars, not even in naira. Initial reports claim that the scam may have drained as much as $800 million, but independent crypto analysts have come in the name of Spectre to say that the figure is closer to $12 million. Investigation also shows that CBEX is largely a part of the international scam network with links to other collapsed platforms like the LWEX and the PSEX, which targeted victims even in Europe. The CBEX debacle highlights the urgent need for stronger crypto regulation and consumer education, especially in emerging markets where financial scams are increasingly going digital by the day. This is a lesson, and hopefully a lot of people will learn that Ponzi schemes are still a thing, and it is not every investment you get to put your mind and put risk into. Basically, know a bit about what you are investing in before you make that step. And that's all we can take on the news today. Many thanks for listening. I'm Babita Ishishi.